Welcome to the Make Life Rich Movement podcast. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, Sarah. And to Rachel, really, because she made this connection.
Shout out to Rachel Liverman of Glow Bar. She was the major connect here, and I'm so thankful she did because, whoa, guys, we're in for a fun treat today. Laura has created the most, gosh, aesthetically pleasing, soft, adjustable dumbbells that go up to 20 pounds.
25.
25
Yeah.
for all of us to oogle over and actually want to work out with, which is great for all of us. So, Laura, thank you so much for creating your beautiful line, lifting the mood. I love the branding, I love the aesthetics, I love the actual weights. Everything about it is just sensational. And I would love for you to just tell us where you were at in your life when this idea came into fruition.
So it was a typical COVID annoying afternoon where you have nothing to do. I wanted to continue being active. And it was, the rage that at the beginning of COVID, where it's like, okay, we're on lockdown. At the time, I was in London, so the rules were a little bit stricter. I refused to not stay active, and I had already been into like my lifting years. I knew how to go about it, so I was looking for dumbbells. And I've always had this. There were a lot of things, but I've always had this fervor in me that wanted to do and start something. Just I didn't know what to prove that I could do it. So there's an element of me and my own goals. There was an element of us women, because everything I was looking for in the internet was ugly, too light, or too heavy, and most of the products out there spoke to men. And so it combined a little of, wait a second, none of the products out there speak to us. None of the products out there seems to believe in our strength. I think this is perfect. I'm a heart. I'm like a hype woman for all women. I love hyping everybody up. It's part of like kind of my personality. I wanted to start something, and I was like, I think this is it. And so, my husband was across the table, and like I just remember being like, hey, so I'm originally from Venezuela, so I told him, hey, mi amor, like, what if I start this? I have this idea. What do you think? And the rest is history.
I love that. That is so beautiful and also beautiful. Shout out to your husband for being supportive
Yeah.
and supporting that dream because it led you to here and
Yeah.
now we get to have this convo. So shout out to your husband. Thank you. I immediately, okay, upon Rachel connecting us, I clicked on the link to your website and I was blown away. But what got me even more was the story that you just shared. And it took me back to when I was really in a tight spot. My husband and I lived in Philadelphia at the time. We were training jujitsu primarily, which like came to a complete halt, touching other people not allowed.
Yeah.
We were training at home, but I wanted something more. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just look online and see what some adjustable sets look like so that he could use higher, heavier weights. I could focus on what I wanted to and still be able to get heavier things for like legs or whatever. There were two major problems. One, they were freaking hideous, like so ugly that I was like, this is not going to inspire me to pick them up, let alone like make some content. I'm a creator. I have to be doing something
Right.
during this time, especially. It was like we were really picking our teeth here for opportunities to get an aesthetic photo that was going to get some likes. So the other thing I noticed was that whatever sets were somewhat acceptable, they had a 2 to 3 week wait time because they had to be shipped from China, which we knew at that moment meant you're not going to see those weights for 2 months.
Yeah.
And in our minds, we were thinking, all right, scratch that. I'll just use these weights that we've had because this should be done by the time these weights will actually get here 2 months from now because they're delayed with shipping. Little did we know I could have gotten them and they would have come in time. But I love so much that you were in that exact moment. I know so many women listening are going to be like, yep, I remember that. They were all hideous or 2 pounds. And what am I going to do with 2 pounds?
Yeah.
So Thank you so much for bringing this to light. I also love that you were the one designated by the universe to download this and take it to the next step because you didn't stop at being disappointed in what you saw. You didn't, relegate yourself to getting something you weren't going to enjoy fully. And because of that and your standards that you set for yourself, this whole freaking company was born and I love it. It's beautiful. Love it so much.
Thank you. You're my hype woman. I
Yay! I'm a Taurus. It's in my blood. I can't help it.
I love it.
So, let's start with the branding first of all, because I'm sure in the process of, waiting to get your hands on things and really diving into what you wanted it to look like, I assume you started with the brand because it really does, branding and a weight are hard to equate with one another, but 100% your branding is just spot on. And dare I say that the shape of the brand is to mimic the movement of a weight
Yes.
for a particular. Yes, I love
You
it. Oh
got
my
it.
gosh, I love it.
Thank you so
It's
much.
so
Yeah.
fun.
So, we were like, again, it's, right now it's just me and my husband. And so right now it's just me and my husband and it's just, we were sitting, back then and on the couch and I was just drafting, like, I wanted something, a little bit of me in the logo and to represent a little of who I was. Um, and my initials are LTM. And so I was like, okay, L, lifting, lifting, lifting. And Brad, he goes, lifting the mood? And I was just like, oh my God, that's it. Lifting lifts our mood. It's even like data shows that it lifts your mood. I'm known for being among my friends, like the happy-go-lucky person. I was like, this is a great convergence. This is it. And so with the logo, I just was trying to just wait, like the stuff that I have. I still keep it as a reminder of how much I've progressed. But kudos to Brad, because I was like something that goes up, something that goes up. And so he came up with the line. He goes, lifting the mood. And I was like, oh, that's it. So
It's
that
so
was,
serendipitous. It's
yeah.
really beautiful. And I love that the two of you could create this together because you're a family and to have
Yeah.
this be something that the two of you were involved in at the very beginning is really special. I love that.
It is because I think I'm very much of a proponent for all women to just like believe in themselves, but also to have a partner, regardless of whoever it is, to believe in something that came from here to this. And yeah, and to essentially, because you're building a life together, and to invest in that idea that you're thinking of, because it's a risk, right? It still is a risk, but it's a risk that I wouldn't, right now at this journey, I wouldn't change it for the world.
So let's talk timelines.
Yeah.
So you started with the branding and you're like, okay, I know what I want. As we talked on air before, the adjustable weight sets that we all are forced to use because there's nothing soft or nice or that actually fits the grip of our smaller hands, causes callousing and all these problems. What were your list of desires for what you were looking for to kind of set the tone for the physical, like ideation of the weights?
I I just remember every one of my friends being like, "Oh, it gives me calluses. Oh, like it's intimidating. Oh, they're so ugly." And I mean, it's great because I was the end user. I am my target demographic, so I know how it feels. Um, so my list was, I want it to be soft. I want it to be able to I wanted to think of, like, model it out for a woman's hand, not for a man's hand, model out for me. And then think of me, as, if you think about it, we like variety, we don't, if you think of men, you're like, oh, men lifting. But if you think of women, you think Pilates, HIIT, have all these different modalities. So it's like, I want to be able to tell them, hey, I can accommodate to you, but I also want you to know that you can push the barrier higher. So there's like an element of, I want to build the confidence in you, and I know that you can. You have the ability to do so, but it's up to you. However hard, however light, zero questions asked, the product is there for you. It's kind of like, yeah, I'm kind of like a bit of a cheerleader, I think.
I love that. And I think the approachability of what they physically look like absolutely makes how do I say this? I had to work through a barrier of going to the gym every day. I lift five
Yeah.
days a week and going to the gym and picking up these hideous, ugly things that in my brain just scream masculinity, masculinity, masculinity to
Right.
where I'm like, whew, I can only pick up like the 20 on a good day if I'm doing leg work with it. Like, there's so much of the weight space that is above 20 pounds, and there's only three options below it: 20, 15, 10. Or I have to go to the other part of the gym where it's like the stretch room to find a five if I'd like to use something that small. And it really does ostracize you in a certain way to recognize that, like, wow, like out of all the equipment in this portion of the room, three, maybe four, maybe five weights, if you're a serious lifter, are something you're actually going to use. The fact that you've created a line of products that can be put into a gym that maybe targets or caters to people that are looking for a wider range of smaller weights or the capability of being able to create
Yeah.
much more of a range of motion and impact, while it also looks beautiful, while it also feels like it's made for you, not only visually, but in that grip. It's genius. Like
Thank
I can't believe it took this long. Women have been weightlifting now since the 60s. Like, why are we waiting until
But only
2024 for this to be a reality and for it to be done properly?
but only 20% of us statistically in the US lift. 20%. So there's an enormous, enormous opportunity here to change that. And but in a way, Sarah, I think it's my element of the story here is an element of a feminist approach, because I think what I really want to build here is the confidence to be able to walk into a room and own it, because you know how strong you are or you can be. And so for a product to be able to allow you to think that way. So of course the physical is great. Of course the product is great. But I'm really, really passionate about just allowing you to know that you're invincible, that you can own the room, even in a world where, let's face it, it's not necessarily designed for us specifically. So I'm very passionate about it. And it's just the other day, one of my best friends from college messaged me. She goes, Laura, I started lifting. And I was like, you just tell me this? I was like, how does it feel? She goes, you were right. I feel invincible. And so I said to her, imagine if all women felt like that, what we would be able to accomplish, regardless of if there were 90% or like 90% of the room is men, you know?
It's an interesting dichotomy,
Yeah.
especially when you're first starting.
Yeah.
I'm 38. I've always worked out or been active in some manner, but never really put effort into weightlifting because it just felt like it wasn't for a woman.
Yeah.
I was doing Pilates, yoga, hot yoga, jujitsu even, which is such a very masculine sport, but it was really fun. So I've stuck with it for 8 years. But the weightlifting recently came into my life because I was having a super hard time regulating my mind and my emotions. And I'm an entrepreneur and I needed a way to drop in and just lock into the
Tone out.
intentions and the energy that I needed to set for the day. It went so far as me deciding the night before, like, fuck it. I'm getting up at 4:30. I will be at the gym when they open at 5. No one will be there but elderly people and a couple of go-getters. And like, I'm going to get after this shit. And 4 or 5 months later, still going in, still being active. I had an injury a few weeks ago, so I've been working out from home. But I have been getting a lot of weird messages, and they're like, "Oh, you're already so thin." I'm like, I'm an average athletic shaped individual. I'm 38. I'm not as I'm not a spring chicken here. I look great for my age. I feel fantastic, which was the purpose. And it always,
I'm around your age, by the way.
oh, cool. High five for the looking young at 30 in the mid 30s club. The thing that I always end up having in conversations with women in my DMs is them saying like, but you already look so great. Why are you doing this? And I'm like, it has almost literally nothing to do with the muscle aspect of it. I'm happy I'm getting my heart some work, but this is all for my brain, my emotions, my mindset. And
100.
the more and more conversations I'm having, some people are starting to notice that that could just be the only purpose for why you're working out, which has been my entire focus for the last 5 months. The benefit, because of consistency, is that I'm seeing some results. I'm getting stronger. It's,
You look tighter.
yeah, but I feel so fucking on top of my shit
Yeah.
that it leads confidence to ooze from every pore, and then it becomes muscle memory.
Correct.
And then that mental emotion is easier for me to latch onto rather than letting anxiety and fear totally derail me. So I agree 12,000%. And it wasn't something I expected to come easily. I felt it day one. Day one. And it's only gotten stronger over the last 5 months. So I agree 100%. Guys, if you take anything from this, let it be that, please.
And I think it's also metaphorically I mean, you're talking about it even from a metaphorical sense, right? But even seeing, so I always compare it to, listen, if yesterday I lifted lighter and today I lifted heavier, I'm like, oh, wait a second. I can have that confrontation, or I can ask for that raise, or I can say, this is not okay. This is just not okay. I'm going to raise my voice because today I was stronger than yesterday. Maybe I can apply that strength elsewhere. So yeah, that's honestly, Sarah, I love what I'm doing, and I love what I'm building and what this brand represents for us as women. My vision is I just want women to want this product because it will make them feel confident. But the rippling effect for me is what I would love, love, love. A vision that people will be like, I feel stronger, I feel more confident because of your products or our products.
Ugh,
That's my
it's
vision.
perfect. It's beautiful. I think the cool thing about the product for me is that unless you own a gym, you're purchasing these things for your home.
Correct.
And I think that first taste of like the jolt of joy that you get from it, and you're like, oh my God, I did this.
Yeah.
For me, I love the ability that women will have to use this as a tool. They can literally walk over and pick it up, even if it's just for one set of like one workout
10
for four
minutes.
sets.
Anything.
Clear
Just
the deck
yeah.
and then feel that increase in you putting like a penny in your piggy bank of like, I can do it. I can do it. I can
Exactly.
do it.
And I think also the importance around this is that strength does not have to be masculine. Strength can also be feminine. And there's beauty in that too. There's nothing wrong with loving pink. There's nothing wrong with liking an aesthetically pleasing product. There's nothing wrong with wanting to wear pink in a conference room full of men. Own it. There's nothing wrong with it. So, yeah, there's that element, like there's that power of like, okay, I'm going to get stronger with a product that believes in my strength and is feminine and I like it. Oh, and by the way, it matches my outfit.
Yes.
So, that's
I
the idea.
I can't. Like I can't I would love for you to pick up one. Can you pick up the white one? It might be easiest to see
The
on
white one?
camera.
Yeah.
Could you take it apart and just break us down through all the pieces? Some people may not have ever used an adjustable weight before.
Of course.
Looking at it, when I saw the pieces taken apart, I was like, gold. Oh my God, it's gold. Please talk
Yeah,
us through
of
how
course.
you chose what it would end up looking like.
Of course. So they're adjustable. So they go up to 25 pounds each. Fun fact, because I started this in London, and they use the metric system like the rest of the world. I'm looking at you, US.
Yeah.
So the idea was each plate would be 1 kilo, which is roughly around 2.5 pounds. But to give you an idea, so you have the bar here, and so each plate is 2.5 pounds or 1 kilo, depending on where you're from. So each plate, sorry,
No, you're good.
have a female and a male. So I'll show you the white so it's better, you can see it better. Um, they interlock.
Yes.
So as you see it here, they interlock.
Yes.
Sorry, it's noisy.
No, no, you're good. It's
How they
perfect.
interlock here. And so
Beautiful.
there's an interlocking system and there's an interlocking system as well in here. So you can add as much as you want, or if you want, you can just have the, which is 2.5 pounds, just the bar, which is you can use for bar or
Yeah.
Pilates or
Yeah.
whatever modality you want,
Yeah.
essentially.
Oh my gosh. The interlocking. Thank you. Okay. The clinking and the clacking of picking this thing up and I'm like, I'm trying, I have my hurts on. This is disrupting. I need the ambiance of this setting for the purpose that I'm going after to be a silent one. And the clickety clanking of all the plates smacking together is so unbecoming. So I thank you personally for that.
You're welcome. Yeah, so the idea is yeah, that everything you're talking about. Obviously, there's going to be revisions in the product, and obviously, there's room for growth. But this is where we start, and I think, I mean, I'm biased, but I think this is a good starting point.
Oh, no, it's a fantastic start. And I would imagine whatever iterations are coming are going to be out of sheer desire, not necessity, because you've really thought it through. It also looks extremely easy to clean. Doesn't
Yeah.
look like it's going to stain from like repeat use.
No.
So, so beautiful. What is the material? Is it a metal or is it coated?
So, so what I've been doing in the page and lifting the mood Insta is I'm showing people kind of the process. So the design of the dumbbells are patented, but what I'm getting to is like, great, suppliers check, patent check, market validation check. But now what I'm doing is, okay, while I'm talking to the supplier, I'm making the people who follow me feel part of this journey with me to launch. So I'm asking them, hey guys, what do you think about matte or what do you think about like the shiny color? So that's what I've been kind of including the followers and friends, I think, by now. You, Sarah, you have to join on the polls that I put online.
I will pull my balls off because I'm so excited for this. Also, I love so much from like I'm a publicist from a marketing standpoint, the fact that you are simultaneously building your community, building your brand while also finessing and finalizing your products and they get to be a part of that instant market value. Like there's no hesitation that you're not going to have sales in your launch because they have been invested from the very beginning. Like I literally met you 2 days ago and
True.
I am so obsessed with you and this product that like I'm in. I already signed up for the launch. Like when is, oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Launches are very fluctuating within their specific date, but do you have a season that you are expecting things to come together?
Yeah. Summer. I'm
Perfect.
putting it out there. It's summer.
Perfect.
I think I can make it. I think I can make it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Are you up against any kind of like sourcing issues, or is it just the overall timing of production and things coming together?
Timing. What's funny is the supplier made a mistake, but a good mistake. And
Oh,
yeah, and a mistake that I didn't think it was possible, but they made it, and it was a pleasant surprise when I opened the box. I won't tell you what it is,
okay.
but I'll tell you offline.
You'll have to wait, guys. You'll have to wait.
Exactly, you'll have to wait when we launch. And so it was a pleasant surprise, which meant I had like the packaging had to like be rethought. And so I think what I'm facing right now, Sarah, packaging is a nightmare.
Girl, packaging is its own
It's its own thing,
individual nightmare, but it's fun when you figure it out.
is it?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you.
Yeah, it feels like I'm creating a new product for packaging, and I've been lucky enough that I have. So the design company that helped me build the sketches, they're called Simple Designs, and the CEO, Simple Design Works. They're based in the UK, but the CEO took a liking for me and my story, and so he's been mentoring me throughout. And it's been an incredible journey. Like, he made me cry because I was just like, Crystal, I'm struggling. This was a year and a half ago. I'm
Mhm.
struggling. I can't find a supplier. I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. I'm like completely stuck. And so he told me, you know what, Laura, screw it. I'm going to be mentoring you until you launch, however long it takes. And I was like, wait, you're not going to, what? He's like, you got me. Um, Not 1 cent
Wow,
mentoring.
bless him. Thank you. Thank you, mentor.
So when I've been telling him about packaging, and every time, Sarah, I think I have it figured out, it's like the laundry list of questions that he sends me. I'm just like,
Mhm.
God damn it.
But it's
To
so
answer your
beautiful.
question, it's getting there. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna happen. I'm getting there.
No rush. All good things take time and all things come out when they're supposed to. So I'm sure everyone will eagerly await your content, by the way, and your website are so beautiful and they really do bring a ton of entertainment in the meantime. So I think we're all very humbly going to wait because you were the only one to make this a reality. So we are indebted to you and we are quite thankful.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much.
I wonder if there's been a moment where well, actually, let's go back to that time where you couldn't find a supplier. I
Yeah.
think a lot of people go into the thought process of like, okay, I need to manufacture something. This should be easy. There's like manufacturing plants all over the world, depends on what country I want it in for whatever reason. But I think that journey begins. And quite often, especially on this show, I hear everyone's biggest problem outside of funding sometimes is the manufacturing. Finding a reliable one, finding one that can make the quantities you're looking for. You want it out of a certain material, or maybe they already work for a competitor and there's a clause to where they can't work with you or create any more of those products,
Yeah.
which happens a lot more than I think some people would imagine. So, would you mind sharing just a little bit about the harder parts of that journey? Because you've clearly made it through to the other side. Guys, don't give up.
Do not give up. Yeah, so we found a hack. One hack was there's this, I wanted to see what suppliers manufactured companies that I liked. And it's really hard to figure out where. Like, how do I figure that out other than like it says made in China or made in Taiwan or I'm just like, but who did it? Like, how can I figure it out? So, I mean, you start Googling, like everybody starts at Google. And to be honest, I put in the stupidest questions like supplier this, supplier that, supplier for that. And then I stumbled upon this website called Import Yeti. And it basically, you put in any brand and it shows up like all the suppliers. Yeah, yeah, yeah. For anyone listening, go. Like, check
Wow.
this website out. And you can see, so it's like, well, I'm assuming it's legal because the bill of lading,
Shipping
whenever,
records.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what this website does is they gather all the bill of lading information. You look it up, so it won't necessarily say exactly what the items are but you can get an idea, right? It says like what tire textiles or whatever. Point is, I went through those motions. Obviously, I checked out Alibaba has different but you have to like look in different words, keywords, and so basically kind of that's what I did. And then the other thing is ask a ton of people. Like I know there's an element of, oh, don't tell people your dreams before. I kind of struggle with that because I do want to I'm a sharer. Like I like sharing information. I don't like safeguarding stuff unless it's deeply personal or and my husband the other day, she's like, "Are you sure you're not sharing too much on Insta, and of my progress?" And I was like, "Listen, at the end of the day, like I know someone's gonna do this, or copy it. It's I was like, but I know what I have, and I know the branding, and I know how I can push it forward, but maybe someone will invent something else and get an idea and take my tips because someone else, that was me, and I didn't see that online. So yeah, tips and I guess inspiration.
Ugh, I love that. And thank you for not being a gatekeeper. I think we get into entrepreneurs can get pigeonholed into scarcity mindset and think someone's going to beat them. They might have more money to make it go quicker or whatever. But guys, no one is you.
No.
Laura is Laura, and she was meant to bring this clearly. How many of you did exactly what we both did, and you didn't start it? Okay. So this was meant for her. What is meant for you will always come. Do not, there's no rushing, forcing things. Just if it's meant for you, you're going to be the one that really kicks it off. And it's always cool to be the first because the first really sets the tone. You're known as the heritage brand that created this thing. There's no need for that scarcity to just kind of run the show. It's fear. And fear is not going to lead to sales and it's not going to lead to longevity in your business. And I think it's really admirable for you to share. And I think it's also cool because I don't think people really understand how long this process takes.
You have no
They can cool in the moment of favoring you because they're like, why is this taking so long?
Oh, I
I
get
think
that
you're
all the
doing right. From a branding perspective, as a publicist, I would be really deeply encouraging a client to, at the very least, let's give some little tidbits so they understand where you're at in their journey because you've been blessed with catching their attention early on. It's
yeah.
only going to guarantee that they're going to purchase from you when launch day comes. So just nurture that relationship. Let them know that you trust them. That
Yeah.
trust that you're giving with this information is priceless. You couldn't pay for that. I think I understand your husband's reservations,
Yeah.
but if I were your publicist, I'd be like, let's
Go for
go,
it.
baby. This is amazing.
It's
Can't
funny.
sit on this.
I have now such a big appreciation for any product out there. So yeah, I've been reaching out to trainers and fitness leaders in the space, or even entrepreneurs, for product feedback. Obviously, those who know are like, nope, I like it. Do no, I can't be perfect. Like, go with it. There are some trainers though, Sarah, that are like, oh, I would change this and make, and I'm just like, uh-huh, uh-huh. I'm like, you have no idea how long it took me to get to this point. You know what? Maybe you're not going to use it, and it's fine. Maybe you'll use it on like the iterations, but as of right now, um, you know, of course, I'm asking for feedback, right? So it's only expected. But what I'm realizing is that some people are like wanting to switch on the technicalities, and I'm just like, you have no idea.
Yeah. I think too, it speaks a lot to you creating this product as a consumer.
Yeah,
I was curious as to whether or not you were a trainer. And for me, that would have been a totally different conversation.
correct.
The fact that you're a consumer to me means more. You don't have, how do I say this?
I don't have the
The
expertise.
air of expectancy of knowledge. There's no hoity-toityness about what you're crafting. You're not trying to be the most elite weightlifter there's ever been. That's a female. It's like, okay, I know what I like and I know what I don't like. And those pain points that literally led you to create this perfect iteration of what you needed for you, I have unknowingly repeated back every one of those things to you since we started this conversation. So a trainer has forgotten about those pain points because they were so far back for them. They've gotten over it. They don't even think about calluses anymore. Calluses to them are achievements. They're
Yes.
s- they're the proof of their hard work. Well, that's fantastic, but I like my hands to be soft. I like them to be strong, but I'd like for them to be soft. My husband can have rough hands. I don't like this at all. I also mindlessly pick at it because it's
Yes,
annoying and it's
I
there.
do the same thing.
I
I
hate
hate it.
it.
I hate it. I hate it.
Hate it, hate it. Like no one wants to like, oh, like a sandpaper on my hand. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. So I think these are things that through the gravitas of being a trainer,
Yeah.
certain things that they prioritize and find to be agreeable, their customers do not. That's often why, there's kind of a no, I'm the expert. I know what you need to do versus, well, I know what I like it to feel like, or I know when I'm uncomfortable and I want to pay attention to that and I want to cater to that. I think invaluable information that would have very much slipped through the cracks if you weren't a professional in like the weightlifting training environment.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, I'm just going to paraphrase exactly what you said. I think what I'm focusing on here is I am the end user, I am the customer. So functionality wise and aesthetic wise, I'm just focusing on the product
Hmm.
itself. And that's really all right now, that's all I care about.
Hmm.
So it's that, and then the story, like the story behind it. How will it will it capture you? I want you to believe in what I believe and the story and the passion that I have and what this represents. Everything else, the trainers, the movements, it'll come. And I
100%.
know that's a barrier to entry, but I'm working on it.
A very minimal one. Are you in New York? I just
Yes,
assumed that because of Rachel. Okay, cool.
I
Yeah,
am.
like we got you. We got a lot of people we're gonna send your way, and there's so many people that have literally been waiting for this and just didn't take the leap. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
once you've hit mainstream with this, and even if it's just New York, New York is the stream, so you're in the right pond. You're right where you need to be.
That's what I
I
thought.
think it's gonna come together so beautifully, and
Oh my God, you're gonna make me cry. Thank you.
but please do. You should. You should really revel in what you've done because I think also the fact that it was done during such a difficult time for every single person on the planet, and not to glorify you making something productive out of it, but I'm going to glorify that you made something productive out of that time. And the majority of the entrepreneurs that I've interviewed over the last 10 months since I started this show, more, I'll say 75% of them started their business during that time frame. And
Really?
I'm holding it akin to a recession. Businesses that start in a recession in that winter phase, they're
Yeah.
germinating those seeds, baby. And once we're out and spring starts to peek its little head, like you're
Right.
approaching your spring. And all of the years of winter that you've been growing through, you're going to reap so beautifully in this. And I love to highlight the stories of those that start things during a hard time because entrepreneurship is already a devil on your shoulder, you know? So
Hear an
you
anecdote?
forged through the fire in such a period that was already so difficult, and anything coming your way from this moment forward is only going to be a growing pain that's just going to keep landing you closer and closer to where you're supposed to be.
Can I call you when I'm having a really bad day?
Anytime.
Great.
We're now best friends. I literally casually stalk everyone I've ever had on the show. They're the majority of my DMs, but it's great. I love to be inspired by people. I love to surround myself with those that are doing something, and not only for themselves, but for the betterment of a good core of people. And for you to care so deeply about providing women with something that's going to really cut the barrier to entry, damn, down to 90%. The last 10% is coming down to your mindset. Are you going to start or are you not? But that 90% of like, oh, it's not made for me, or you pick it up and you're like, ooh, I hate this, or like, I can't have my hands being a tore up mess. I'm a doctor, or I'm a dentist. Like,
Right.
there are all these things that I think really overlooked. And as a woman, not to like, our life is hard. And it's hard
No,
because
it
the
is.
majority of things that have been manufactured and created were done for a man, with a man in mind, with how he holds it or feels it or what it looks like. And there comes a moment that's very rare in a man's life to feel a thing that's not made for them. And I think it's beautiful that you're turning the tables on that and you're adding one more thing that women can have that's just for them. Although men can use them too. Your husband can pick it up and
He
whomever,
actually
but
used them the other day. I was going to take a video of him because he like got up in the morning. He's like, I don't have time to go to the gym. I'm just going to use the LTMs. And I was like, can I record you? He's like, no.
just
He's
just use the
camera
black
shy.
set.
He
Come
doesn't
on.
love the camera that much. Like,
Oh.
this is all you. This is nothing. I just like dip my toes and help you out when I can. I was like, okay, fair.
Shout out to the spouses, guys. Shout out to
Shout
the
out to the
spouses.
spouses who believe in us.
So what does your dream launch look like?
Um, my dream launch, I mean, I've been dreaming it for now quite some time. I would love to, well, fingers crossed, rent out a space in New York, somewhere in Manhattan. And to be honest, Sarah, like, I want it to be a celebration of us, a celebration of women, of what we're capable of our strength, and showcase the product, and showcase the fact that we are so freaking strong.
I love it.
So ideally, yeah, this summer, and then launch it online, sell it, at the event, at the launch event, which I hope you can come. I'll let you know when it is.
I'm there. I'm
And
there.
yeah, and I mean, I've been thinking about maybe having some events outside, and talking to some other trainers, and I've been reaching out to apps that I really like. There's Obey is one of them because it
Hmm.
focuses on women. So
Love it.
yeah, so if you're hearing Obey, I'm interested.
The founder of Obeys sounds like a super cool chick. I listened to her on an episode of The Skinny
Ooh,
Confidential, and you guys are very simpatico. I
aligned.
think that would be a nice relationship. We'll put it out there, putting it out to the
Putting it
universe.
out
If
there.
anybody knows the founder of Obey, send her Laura's way. It's meant to be. It's
It's
meant
meant
to
to be.
be. All right, so my final question to all of my
Yes.
guests is this. Laura, how
Yes.
do you make your life rich?
How do I make my life what?
Rich? Sorry,
Oh, rich. I
rich.
was like
My voice
French.
is too
I was
quiet
like,
today.
oh, oui, oui. Um, rich. I I am incredibly grateful every day. Um, I think regardless of whatever challenges I have ongoing, I am incredibly grateful that I have health. Um, I keep saying this to my husband every day, and I tell him I'm so incredibly have health, and I'm so incredibly happy that I have health. My mother is healthy, our family is healthy, like just that basis, and then we have love around us. Like I have I have an incredible group of women around me who support me and who are my friends, and that propels you to do anything else
Hmm.
regardless of what happens. Like if you have those two things, gratitude
Hmm.
for me, regardless, I will be having the crappiest day, but I will revert back to being like, okay, what are the good things that I have right now?
Hmm.
And okay, let's focus on that. How's that feeling? And then it kind of makes me feel better to challenge whatever next I have.
Oh my God, you got me. I love that so much. It's a foundation, guys. It's a foundation for everything. And even in the worst moments, if you can just be thankful for your breath, start there.
Yeah,
Because a lot of people don't have it any longer. And that's a
yeah.
sobering fact that can sometimes kick you out of a funk. And I love so much that that is important to you and that you make that a practice because it's only just going to propel you further and further into the majority of things you can't even imagine yet that you are going to have to be grateful for in your future.
Thank you, Sarah. Honestly, I loved talking to you. It was great. Thank
Oh,
you so
thank
much.
you.
It was
I
really
love
enjoyable. You're really good at just smoothing, and like you're very smooth. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. I love talking. My mom always said that I could talk the hind leg off a donkey, and I'm like, I might as well make it my profession then, huh? 'Cause I could talk all day. And it's so exciting. My husband and I lived in Philadelphia for 20 years. We moved 2 years ago to live with my mother at the beach after my few years of my father having passed away. And I live in a tourist town, so there's about 100,000 of us in the winter. It's very quiet here, and it's difficult to find a plethora of people that feel and think like me. And this show has been such a lifeline for me, at least, in being able to keep people around me that are doing the things that I love to hear about, love to think about, and love to be involved in. So thank you so much for being a part of that. It means a lot to me. It
Thank you, Sarah.
absolutely makes me cry every day. So thank you.
You got this.
Woo! You too, girl. All right. Thank you so much for being on. We are going to be stalking you steadily until your launch, guys. There are going to be a ton of links in the show notes. Please go click on them. You're going to sign up for information about the launch so you can be the first to hear about it. And then you're going to follow on Instagram because you want to be a part of everything coming in the next few months. And Laura, thank you for taking this project on with your whole heart and soul. It's absolutely meant for you, and I can't wait to see what comes out of it.